Hi, I'm Carly Sanchez, and I'm doing my presentation on multi-touch screens, and it's a focus on CleverTouch, which is a certain company that produces multi-touch screens. So before my research on multi-touch screens used in education, I had no knowledge of this technology being used at all. So this presentation is everything I've learned. So here we go. What is multi-touch technology? When I read this first off, I wasn't quite sure what it is, so let me give you a brief definition. It is technology that enables a surface, trackpad, or a touchscreen to recognize the presence of more than one or more than 2 points of contact with the surface. So it allows users to interact with their devices in a multitude of ways by expanding the number of interface options. It's not just swiping and tapping, but multi-touch allows for zooming, scrolling, selecting, and more. So common examples of this would be like your smartphones, tablets, and laptops with trackpads. This technology is also used for CleverTouch. So CleverTouch is the market. CleverTouch has the market-leading large interactive touch screens. They have a British manufacturer and are used in education and business. However, education is where they are used primarily. Their screens have the simplicity of a smartphone phone, or a tablet, but on a much larger scale. The next slide shows you an example of the use of CleverTouch in a classroom. So that was an example of students using CleverTouch in a school setting where it was kind of a whole class setting. A cool thing about CleverTouch is that they also have a portable display. So the display, this is an option. There are different types of models of CleverTouch, and this allows the display to turn into a desk. And in this next slide, we'll view how it looks like students using it. So as you can see, the screen can be split up into at most 4 different screens. So you can differentiate the levels of what your students are doing or what actual projects they are working on. So the student use. Technology such as iPhones, iPads are household norms, and that is why multi-touch tables, kiosks, and interactive whiteboards have become a natural learning interface because it complements what they do outside of school. So it's much easier to collaborate using a multi-touch screen than a pen and paper or one computer because all students can participate at one time. It engages students and it encourages student-led learning because all of the students are working on the same thing at the same time and they can discuss what is going wrong, what is going right. It is also very engaging for them because it is something new and it's something that is easy for them to use. It's not something that they really have to work on learning about. They just use their hands to move things around and they pick it up pretty quickly. So the benefits of multi-touch screens, specifically CleverTouch, is that it is economical. So you don't have to spend money on replacement bulbs or parts for anything like projectors or anything that is used for like a smartboard or an interactive whiteboard. The images on CleverTouches are very clear, and the lights in the classroom don't actually have to be off at all because the screen just shows it so nicely and clear. There's no bright light that's shining down on you. I know that's something that I don't like about using a projector is that I don't like being in front of the big beam of light when teaching. CleverTouch is also very durable because they are making this technology with children in mind, and they know that they have to make something durable that they can use year after year. And there are no specific pens that have to be used. So for my smartboard, I know I have specific pens, and sometimes some of the pens don't work, or maybe you misplace a pen, and then you're not worried about trying to find a pen or the eraser. It all can just be done with your hands. And then the software is already preloaded onto the CleverTouch program, so you don't have to buy anything extra. And students can share their work in real time from their own device. So if your students have one-to-one iPads, they can share what they're doing from their device onto the CleverTouch screen. Popularity. So CleverTouch is replacing interactive whiteboards such as smartboards at a fast pace. Not so much in the US, but is very popular in Europe and then also in the Middle East and Africa, but especially in UK. It actually is leading the market of technology used in the classroom. All teacher videos and posts I've seen about CleverTouch or any use of multi-touch programs have been positive. They say it's really easy to use, that students really love to use it, and they have students that are really engaged in their lessons when using the multi-touch screens. Okay, so where to start? So you get this technology and you get this board, but you don't know where to exactly start. Thankfully, this program already, as I mentioned, comes loaded with educational software. So it comes with these 4 different softwares: DisplayNote, Snowflake, Lynx, and CleverMath. So on top of already coming with the software, there are also tons of tutorials online and on the CleverTouch website that show you exactly what you can do with each of these different softwares and how you can use it inside your classroom. In addition to that, there are trainings that your school could hire somebody from CleverTouch to come out and teach them firsthand how to use CleverTouch in different ways. And even on top of that, there are also lessons that are already preloaded onto CleverTouch. So teachers can just use those lessons at first until they get comfortable in creating their own on one of these different softwares, and then they can kind of do whatever they want with it. So my thoughts on CleverTouch and multi-touch screens. I think CleverTouch seems really easy to use. All the videos I watch with kids using it, it seems like they've done it for years because all they have to do is use it like a smartphone where they're just dragging something. They can make it bigger, they can make it smaller, they can flip it around, and it would be super simple for them to pick up this technology because they're already so used to using things like this. Right now I have a smartboard in my classroom, and although smartboards are great and they're great to use for certain things, the way my classroom's set up, my smartboard, my students, they're first graders, they can't even reach my smartboard because of how my classroom is set up, and that kind of makes it not interactive at all because they can't even use it. And then overall, for CleverTouch, I think the coolest thing about it is the portable display. I think it is so cool that you can collaborate with people, with their peers, with using like a table that they can actually move and touch and use things. So overall, I think CleverTouch is a really cool program, but to really have an idea of if I would like it or if it would be useful in my classroom, I would definitely need to try it first. So I'm looking forward to this technology to actually being introduced more in the US and see what other teachers really think about it. Here are my references, and thank you for listening to my presentation.